Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's Trevor Stockwell here, and I wanted to ask, do you have an ambitious goal? Or did you have an ambitious goal at some point, but somewhere along the line, life's journey, desire fades, failure, distraction, something like that comes in. Or maybe you're actually thinking now, I really should get an ambitious goal. Well, goals are important because they help us focus on time, our energy into what we want to achieve. And Erwin, our guest today, can help us because he's a mindset coach and he coaches business owners who want to excel and achieve the ambitious goals they set themselves. So we need to have goals to then achieve. So welcome, Erwin Wils.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome. I'm looking forward to our discussion today. You're a great individual and we can learn a lot from you. So maybe just to kick us off, share a little bit about your story, your journey that's kind of brought you to where you are now and helping people with coaching.
Sure. Let me start way back in 96 when I graduated at university as a Master of Science in Electrical Engineering. And I rolled into the corporate world. I loved optimizing processes. That was the common thread throughout my career. And every step I took was towards process optimization. And in 2014, I thought to myself, you can optimize a process and have all the graphs and figures to support it. But if the people that are using the process don't change, the process itself won't change. Yeah. So how do I get those people to change as well? And I thought about doing a training in NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. But that was like all the information I had at that moment. So I did some little research on the internet. And long story short, I came across hypnotherapy. And I had all kinds of presuppositions about hypnosis, about not being in control. And that's something that I hate, to be honest. Yeah. And but I also read an ebook that swept all my presuppositions off the table. And if something collides with my view of the world, I want to know the truth. So I got more into that. And I decided to do a training on hypnotherapy. And the first weekend of training, that changed my life because I found my way of making a positive impact in the world. Because I like helping people, but in a coaching manner. So I'm not going to tell you what to do, but the information, the solutions come from the inside. And that's exactly what hypnosis does. My works need a challenge. And every person, every individual is unique. It's its own process. So every new client is a new challenge for me. And I love that. And I'm still optimizing processes, but very complex ones, those of the internal human being. So back in 2015, and I thought, I want to do this for a living someday. Someday being like 5-10 years from that moment. Not realizing that in 2017, I will be fully self-employed. So I knew I wanted to do that. And before I knew it, I was fully involved in it. I did that for 1.5-2 years. I worked as a hypnotherapist, helping people overcome mental challenges. And I saw a lot of unused potential with my clients. Now everybody is limiting themselves without realizing it. And I saw that with my clients. And I thought, I really want to put them in the full potential, that they can make a positive impact as well. And that's why I changed my focus towards coaching. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Okay. Yeah. So the kind of the aha moment, I guess, was more realizing that it's the behavior change of the individuals that are working the processes that is really going to make the lasting changes. So, okay.
Exactly. If the person gets they say people want to change, but don't want to be changed. And by working directly with the mindset, the change comes from within. And if people realize that they can do better than they thought they were doing, it's their aha moment. And it gives me so much pride to be able to deliver that to them. Would you like to do a little experiment to show you what I mean with limiting ourselves?
Yeah.
It's very simple. It consists of 3 parts. The 2 physical challenges, 1 mental challenge. The first physical challenge is I want you to raise one of your hands as high as possible.
I hope everybody listening is doing this as well.
And just make a remark what height you've just reached with that hand, right? Okay. So the second physical challenge is I want you to take that same hand and reach it even higher than you just did.
Okay, yeah.
Did you succeed?
Yes.
Okay, well, you're like most people I'm doing this test with. So the third challenge, that's a mental challenge. Why didn't you do that the first time?
Good point. If I'm honest, it was slightly less comfortable the second time because I was stretching to go further than what was the natural limit or extent of my arm, I suppose.
Yeah. And the fun part is you're doing this exercise sitting.
Yeah.
You could have stood up and reached even higher. You could have climbed on your chair, on your desk, and saying to me that the ceiling is limiting your hand for reaching higher. But you've put yourself in a sort of frame, and within that frame, you're doing the best you can until you're challenged to get out of that frame, and you realize you can do even better than you thought you did.
That's powerful. Yeah, that's a really good, very simple, but very practical way of demonstrating. Yeah, we have ceilings that aren't really there, don't we? As you say, they're in our minds. We just assume they're there. I think I'm a big fan of coaching. I'm biased anyway, but I think from my perspective, you may agree or disagree with this. Tell me what you think. But is it more if we're invited to try something different, we feel that we have permission to do it, whereas in our own thinking, we maybe wouldn't consider it?
There are a lot of parts that play a role in that. For instance, one of my beliefs, and it's a very strong one, is that the subconscious mind always have a positive intention. It wants to keep you safe. It wants to protect you. It wants to make you comfortable. Sure. And what better way of keeping you safe and comfortable as keeping you in your own comfort zone? So when you're on your own, it's predictable. You know what the results will be. So staying in your comfort zone makes it comfortable and thus protective. So when you want to get out of your comfort zone, the subconscious mind might struggle with that because you're going into the unknown.
Yeah.
So it wants to keep you a little bit back. It will hold you back a little bit. Those are those little tiny voices you can hear in your head. Sometimes, should you do it, maybe tomorrow, whatever, right? When there's an external factor, like a coach, that's challenging you, there will other parts play a role. Like you want to prove something to him or her, especially when you're paying them money, you want to make the money worth. So you're doing the extra mile, you're doing the extra step. And their job is to get you out of your comfort zone, or actually to expand your comfort zone with things you've never done before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And something, you can, it's amazing how it works, because you already said it. There are a lot of people that are afraid of public speaking.
Yeah.
But what scares you the most is in the middle of a comfort zone of somebody else. So because if it was dangerous for mankind, nobody would speak in public, right?
Yeah.
So it's our own limitations that makes it scary or dangerous or whatever.
Yeah. No, I see exactly where you're coming from. It's like we automatically assume, well, it's okay for them. They're obviously good at it. They obviously never had to stretch to get to where they are. But for me, it would be uncomfortable. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It was one of the mindset changes I made for myself in the process of my entrepreneurial journey. That in the beginning, I saw a lot of successful people, coaches, and I thought that's not for me. They had better guidance or luck or whatever. They were at the right moment at the right time. I will never be able to achieve such a thing. And at a certain moment, I just thought to myself, they're not better than I am. If they can do it, why shouldn't I be able to do that?
Yeah.
And such a little shift can make a heck of a difference.
Yeah. You're right. It's like if we really don't believe we can do something, we're not going to try, are we? 9 times out of 10. It's just so. That's the dilemma that we have, isn't it? So how does coaching help people move from that to a place where they can get up on stage? So what was kind of some of the steps that you took for yourself to overcome the comfort zone that was trying to keep you within a small box that you really wanted to get out of?
I think reading did a lot to me. I read a lot of books like Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. Yep. I think that was one of the major changes in my life, so to speak, because one of his quotes is, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve."
Yeah.
And because I totally believe in my own capacity, my own skills, I know I can achieve the things I set my mind on. And that's the same with my clients. You can have a dream of how big you want your company to become or whatever. You can convert that dream into a vision, but truly believing in that vision and taking the steps to achieve it, that can be a step too far for a lot of people. Yeah. And that's where I come in. It's if I can make you believe in your own dreams, in your own vision, I know you will achieve it because you will take the steps to get there.
Yeah. That's really good. Yeah. I'm sure everybody that's listening is thinking, okay, where's the ceiling that I've put in my own life? Would you say it's easy for us to spot that ourselves? Or, I mean, obviously there is value in coaching, but if somebody maybe they're listening to this feeling a bit kind of uncomfortable is probably not the right word, but kind of thinking, I need to make a shift. Not sure if I want to take the step for a coach just yet, but I want to explore and think a bit more. What would be kind of some of the steps towards getting a coach, getting the accountability that brings and the help and support?
Well, I like to make the comparison with sports. If you look at all the top athletes, they all have at least one coach, but most of them have several coaches. They got a mindset coach, they got a training coach. I don't know what kind of coaches they all have, but those are the coaches that make them succeed in their goals.
Yeah.
Right? Usain Bolt is the fastest man on earth, right? Partly because he had a great coach.
Yeah.
And a coach doesn't mean that the coach has been a runner himself or herself, but he can get the best out of a person.
Yeah.
You're in England, we're in the Netherlands, so soccer plays a big part in our lives.
Yeah.
A great coach can make a team excel.
Yeah.
If they can be great players, they can be all individual experts. but it takes a coach to make them play as a team, to put them on the right spots in the right positions so they can excel with the team.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's one of my coaches actually said, you can consider yourself being a total package of skills, experience, knowledge, but you can't see what's the label on the package. You need somebody outside the package to read the label and tell you what's inside of it.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah. It reminds me, I can't remember who said it, but I caught a program on TV a while back, and I think it was a psychologist. Anyway, this very smart lady, as I now know she is, said, you realize that the one thing that fish can't see is the water. And it kind of stopped me in my tracks just thinking about it. And it really is. We do need help from outside at times to see things differently, don't we? We grow up, as you say, we've all got our own kind of perspective, our map of the world, because of how we've grown up or things that have influenced us.
Yeah.
We do in some ways need a polite slap on the face sometimes to help us see things a bit differently.
Are you familiar with the television series The Voice?
Yes, I don't watch it, but I do know. Yes,
yeah.
I do know.
Well, you've got the X Factor, you got The Voice. You know, I like to use The Voice because you have this quadrant of being unconscious, incompetent, conscious, incompetent. Then you got the conscious competent part and the unconscious competent part, right? Yeah. There are people going to audition at The Voice, they're unconscious incompetent. They can't sing and they don't know it, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the jury that makes them conscious incompetent instantly. With remarks with, please keep it to yourself. Don't go bother other people with it, Yeah. And some don't accept those comments. And they stay unconscious, incompetent for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
But for some people, it's a passion. They love to sing. So they start taking lessons. They take a vocal coach. They take a singing coach. They take courses. And at a certain moment, they can actually quite sing great, right?
Yeah.
At that moment, they're conscious competent. And if they keep singing and practicing and singing, it becomes the second nature and they are unconscious competent, right? But you've also those natural talents. They come to the audition and the moment they open their mouth, the audience is mesmerized. You get shivers all over your body because you feel the song, right?
Yeah.
But what's the problem or the challenge when they are by nature, they're unconscious competent, right? But what's the drawback of that?
Go on.
They don't recognize it as a talent. It comes so natural to them that they think everybody can do it.
Yeah.
Right? Most of them are more or less slightly pushed by their family, their parents, their friends to go for the audition. But they don't see it as they're just doing what they love, It doesn't cost them any effort. It's so natural to them. They think there's nothing special about this. I'm just singing, right?
Yeah.
Everybody can do this. But not everybody can do it. It's a talent.
Yeah.
And it takes this jury to make them conscious, competent of their own skills, of their own talent. And during the series, during the show, you see them grow into the role. They start accepting their own talents and they start enjoying it even more. And that's when they blossom, when they grow and they become these great stars.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
And that's when you have a talent, you don't recognize it as such. It becomes so natural to you. And the first step is to make you aware of your own talents. And then foster it, make it bigger, make it become competent of your own skills.
Yep, that makes sense. So maybe as like the people that listen to this, generally they're business owners. So we've got within what you've described, we've got a mix of people that are natural kind of marketers. Maybe they're not good at accounts, but they're good at marketing. They're good at promotion, networking. They're people. Then you've got other people that are maybe not as natural at it, but they know they need to do it and they're kind of working on it. Whatever spectrum people will find themselves and however they would kind of label it, how can we then kind of move into a greater level of awareness then as to whether, can everybody else do this? Is this something that I'm not valuing, but it's actually a gift to me? Or is this just something everybody does?
Well, something I take my clients through, and it's something you can do for yourself as well, is look at your childhood. What were you good at? What things did you do without somebody asking you to do it? What did you love to do? Because that will already be the first sign of your own talent, of your natural talent. Let's for instance, a lot of young boys played with Lego, the building blocks. But how did you play with those? Did you just follow the manual? You're building this car, and when it's finished, you're proud of yourself. You play for it for weeks. Or were you doing the building process, already thinking how you could turn this car into an aircraft or a rocket or a boat, right? And you never finished the car because you ended up with a rocket or a train. Yeah. If you were the latter, then you're very creative. So creativity is a natural talent of you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you should become aware of those little things, where you very good at getting your point to the other side. If you ask for something, right? Did you get it? Well, if you got it, you'll probably be a sales talent or marketing talent.
Yeah.
Because you knew how to get some things.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Some people are more naturally kind of influential just off the bat, aren't they? And other people have to kind of really work at it or, focus on growing that part of their lives.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yes. Yeah. I like that. Look at what we did naturally as a child, because.
And you can. You can ask your parents, you can ask your friends, you can even ask, while you're still in a job, you can ask your colleagues, ask them to describe you in 3-4 sentences or words. Why do they come to you for certain questions or certain challenges? Why do they ask it? Why do they ask you for that?
Yeah. So
you learn from the others how you come across.
Yeah.
And that will already be the first step of getting to know yourself.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for sharing that. That's really good. Let's maybe just jump slightly back into your story a bit, just because I'm kind of interested in the bit of the journey, like as you were discovering what you wanted to do and go into coaching. How did you find your niche? What were the kind of things that became more evident to you? Was that wrapped around your gifting more, would you say?
It grew upon me. The problem was I did a lot of trainings and courses. I invested a lot of money in my self-development.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem I faced was you get all the skills and tools to help everybody. And if you want to help everybody, you're helping nobody. Because why do they want to come to you, right?
Yeah.
So I had to specialize myself. I had to find my own niche. And that took a while. One of the major mind shifts I also encountered was when I created my coaching programs, I was selling what people needed. And that doesn't sell. Because you have to sell what people want and give what they need.
Absolutely.
And there's a difference between that.
Say that again, because that's really good.
Yeah. You have to sell what people want and give what they need.
Yeah.
And then I got a bit stuck. I procrastinated because I knew I had to sell the results that my clients were looking for. But since I never delivered those results, how could I sell them? How could I sell that I would increase your profit if I didn't have a client I realized it with?
Yeah.
So, and that actually took me a few months to overcome that. Because at a certain moment, I gave myself a kick in the butt. And I said to myself, Erwin, you're not getting anywhere now. Just go have conversations with prospects. Ask what they want to achieve, in what time frame. And if you feel comfortable achieving that for them, make them an offer, for a pilot price.
Yeah.
And that's how I started. And it worked. And I got my first client from that. And from there on, it took off.
Okay. Yeah.
And then all kinds of people came across my path. I've helped coaches. I've helped therapists. I've helped technical people. I've helped people with social media expertise. So once I was on another training, the trainer asked me, well, who do you actually help? And I said, well, actually what I do is I transform experts into entrepreneurs. Because all my clients were experts in their own field, but their entrepreneurial skills needed more development.
Yeah.
And actually last year, I decided to focus myself on tech experts because that is even a smaller niche than I was already working with. But it also includes my 20 years of experience in the corporate world and my technical background as being a Master of Science in Electrical Engineering.
Yeah.
So I know where I came from. I was a bit introvert as well. I thought I couldn't sell. I didn't like to be in the spotlights. But I've overcome all those things. And it's a stereotype nerd, so to speak. The geek that doesn't like to be in the spotlights or sell himself or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm doing all that. I've got my own advanced sales masterclass that I can help people to sell in a natural way, not by using any script or whatever. And I'm doing all those things. So I know what they encounter, what challenges they have, and I know how they can overcome it.
Yeah, you're the perfect person to help them get from where they are to where they need to be, aren't you, really, from that? I was going to ask you about some of the products you do. I know you've developed your own coaching methodology, haven't you, EMPOWERR?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that. What does that entail?
Yeah, and EMPOWERR, it's short for end goal, mindset, personality, obstacles, will, and then effectuate, review, and repeat. So it's an umbrella. And if you would look on the internet for the logical levels of change, it's a pyramid of Bateson and Dilts. It says which levels people make changes.
Okay.
Like the lowest level is the environment. Then you got your behavior. You have got your skills, your beliefs, and values and beliefs, identity and mission. Mission is the top level. When I was a hypnotherapist, people came to me to change behavior. And I knew if I would take it to the level of values and beliefs and change it on that level, that the behavior would change as well. And my EMPOWERR coaching methodology is taking care of the top part of the pyramid. So I know if I'm transforming on that part, it will all fall down like a waterfall and change the rest below it.
That sounds Very wise. Yes, that's a very good approach to that. So what would you say to maybe the business owners out there that they don't yet have ambitious goals? They're listening to us and thinking, yeah, I know I need to do something about it. I'm going around in circles. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm hitting the ceiling, the proverbial ceiling. What would be the best approach that you would take them through? Would it be start off with some coaching, looking at mindsets, behaviors, or is there an easy roadmap that people follow, or is it a lot more specific on where they are and kind of what they want to achieve?
I think the biggest, I think the letter you mentioned is usually the default I come to. You know, where are you right now? What do you want to achieve? What's the gap in between?
Yeah.
And based on the story where they are now and where they want to go to, I make them an offer, right? I want my client to know that I'm the right person for them, to help them.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel it myself as well. So I'm always having a free discovery call with prospects to get to know each other better, to discuss their situation, their challenges. And if I can help them by any way, by advising a book, by forwarding them to a colleague of mine, or by offering my services, that's my way of helping them. And if they're up for that and they're willing to work with me, I want them to be my next success story. And it can be startups, you know, that are thinking, you know, I have a great idea, but I don't know if I can build it, until the person that's already built a solid company needs to take himself to the next step, you know, by delegating his tasks.
Yeah.
That can be a challenge as well, because who knows better how to do things than the guy that built the business, right?
Yeah.
It demands a different mindset.
Yeah.
You know, you're not working in the business anymore. You're working on the business.
Yeah.
It can be of all parts of life, and it just depends on where they are.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
There's no default roadmap for them, because every person is unique, is special, and needs their own approach.
Yeah. Yeah. We've all kind of grown with different inputs and influences to make us who we currently are, aren't we? And then, how we then take that forward. You're right. Complex. We're complex in lots of different ways, aren't we? But it's all positive. I like what you said as well. I totally agree that if the chemistry doesn't feel right between the coach and the prospective client, then it's better for both parties. It's just like, you do need a coach maybe, but I'm not the person for the job. I think there's a lot of integrity in that. So it's good to hear as well. We are kind of coming to the end of our time. As great as this is, I'm enjoying this a lot. I did want to just kind of touch on, you also believe in giving back, don't you? So you're involved in different projects in Haiti and different things. Tell us a little bit about what you've got involved with.
Yeah. I've got 2 adopted boys, and they come from Haiti. That shouldn't be a surprise. And they're actually the reason why I became an entrepreneur. You know, I told you at the beginning I wanted to do a course on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
Yeah.
And on my search for information, I came across hypnotherapy, and they were talking about regression, where you can go back in the past, simply said, solve things without accusing anybody, so that you're not limited by it in the present. And I thought I could help my boys with that. And my wife thought the same. So that was actually the reason why we decided to do the training in hypnotherapy.
Okay.
And that's when I found my purpose, so to speak. You know, my way of making a positive impact in the world.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, it's so beautiful. I want to give something back to the country that gave me my boys, and that finally led me to this entrepreneurial journey I'm enjoying so much. So there's a school in Haiti It's led by a Dutch lady. She's an elder lady. And she was, it's a primary school. And she was having issues with finding teachers because there wasn't any, let's put it this way, practical school.
Okay.
You know, they're teaching on how to become teachers, but it's all theory. It's the same with accountants and all that kinds of things. And she wanted to start a practical school. You know, that the students get hands-on experience.
Yeah.
But they needed money for that. And there was in the Netherlands, there was or in the city I'm living in, there's this institute that wants to support such projects.
Okay. Yeah.
But it took a very long time to get the money for that. And during that time, I thought to myself, you know, if that institute isn't doing that, then I'm going to make sure it comes there. So that's when I decided, you know, if this is what the country needs, and if I can give something back to the country that gave me my two wonderful boys, then so it should be.
Nice. That's a really good way of defining ambitious goals, I think. Yeah, living kind of bigger than yourself, but also having a passion, having a desire to give back in another country, but also, yeah, affecting lives of people that, you know, maybe you're not going to meet them directly, but you've had a positive influence in their life. So that's amazing. Well done. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing the bits of your journey, the lessons that you've learned, practical things as well. Maybe just to close, you've got a website, haven't you? Is that the best way for people to find out more about you? What?
Yeah, I've got a website, a Millionaire Life Strategy, that people can visit. I'm currently in the process of updating the pages. I've had some recent interviews published that you can find in there for getting more knowledge about me, more of my background.
Okay.
And people can follow me. People can connect with me on LinkedIn or via the website using the forms.
Okay.
And
yeah.
all info.
That sounds good. Yeah, there'll be a link below where people can click to get through to your website, and then that's where they'll find out about your different services as well for sales and marketing as well, isn't it? As coaching. Yeah. So brilliant.
I'm currently working on a new ebook about the differences between employee mindset and entrepreneurial mindset, and I'm also gathering stories about other successful entrepreneurs that I want to include in the ebook, so that it can inspire other entrepreneurs as well. So the moment it's finished, I'll be publishing it on the website as well, and people can download it if they want to.
Sounds good. Yeah, definitely. Nice one. Thank you for what you shared today, and hopefully you'll come back and tell us more when your book is published. You can give us some of the tips from that and some of the insights from that as well. We'd love to have you back. There's lots that we can learn about ourselves and just the things that are holding us back, on just challenge our thinking as to, actually, what is it that maybe I've lived with which I really shouldn't, or I don't need to live with. I think that just being challenged to stop and think about that regularly is a healthy thing. Definitely, yeah. And for everybody listening, I would definitely encourage you to take Erwin's offer up of a free call. Just have a conversation, explore whether you feel it's the right thing. Just bounce ideas, discuss, see where you can go. But if you leverage the services of a good coach, of a great coach, then you will leapfrog lots of different things. You'll save yourself time. You will save yourself money, almost definitely as well. So it's a good investment as well. And you learn more about yourself. And I think at the end of the day, however many businesses we have, as good as it is building a business, it's how we grow within ourselves how we discover more about ourselves, and then how we can help other people, I think is what brings really real satisfaction. So yes, I'm slightly biased. I love coaching. I see lots of benefits to it. But yes, it's there. We can't force you, but it's there. Why wouldn't you at least explore? So contact Erwin, have a conversation, and see where it goes from there. Erwin, thanks again for sharing. It's been really, really enjoyable on the conversation today. And yeah, we do look forward to having you back with us next time. That would be great.
Thank you for having me, Trevor, and good luck with the show. Love to be back someday.
Thank you. Thank you. And for everybody listening, thanks for joining us again. Sometimes, yeah, we do challenge you. We do kind of get you to think about where you are and where you could be. And that's a good thing. So yeah, hopefully you found that beneficial as well. We'll sign off for now, but we will catch you on the next episode. So thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.